Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Randy Kaye, and I'm the host of the Caught Up podcast. Today we have Ray McDonald. He is the president and head coach of the Warrior Academy out of San Mateo, California. Ray and his team are coming off a great weekend of softball where he took home some hardware at the On Deck Org Challenge this past weekend. Ray, it's always great to see you. Thanks for taking the time to catch up.
Awesome, Randy. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. It's always good to see you. It's funny because I never knew who we didn't meet. I think we met last year at Patriot, at least, officially, right? We sat there and chatted it up a little bit. I think I ate some of your wings or something like that, right? But I remember seeing you guys. I had no idea who you guys were. I'm kind of in my little bubble in the places that I go and the places that I play, and I want to say it was probably around 2020 or 2021. Did you guys come to Phoenix around that time and play out in Queen Creek, Arizona?
Yes, the January tournament.
It might have been the January. Yep.
Or November. We play out there as well.
Yeah. And I remember seeing you guys, and I remember, you guys are in the A's green uniforms.
Yeah.
And I see this kid hit a ball about as hard as I've ever seen a kid hit a ball. And it turns out it was Megan Grant. And they're like, yeah, that kid's going to UCLA. So that was kind of my introduction to you guys. Tell me a little bit. First of all, let's talk about what got you into coaching? Why do you coach? What kind of drives you to do that?
Oh, well, I'm going to say my father, who passed away in February of this year.
What's his name?
He was a baseball just junkie. He just loved it. He played with the Milwaukee Braves before they moved to Atlanta. And when I was born, it was a baseball glove in my hand from the start. And, playing through college and being drafted by Toronto Blue Jays and playing in the minor league system, and then having a son and him playing and making it to the major leagues with the Oakland A's. It's just baseball's been in my blood forever.
Yeah.
3 daughters I have.
Oh, wow.
Obviously,
okay.
Kelly is my first daughter, and it was, softball right from the start. So it's just kind of been in our blood forever.
So Kelly played at UC Santa Barbara.
Yes.
And did your other daughters play?
They chose to go volleyball. I had the batting cage in the backyard, and Kelly and I would go rounds and rounds and hitting, and those father-daughter relationships on hitting. The other 2 wanted no part of that, and they went to volleyball.
We're gonna go do something Dad doesn't know anything about.
That's correct.
I heard volleyball is kind of brutal too, as far as it's expensive, right? And it's some people tell me that they have it figured out, because I heard that once you sign with a club or once you join a club, you can't move. Is that true?
I'm not sure. I was on the softball field a lot, and
Got it. So around baseball, you said your dad. What was your dad's name?
His name was Ray McDonald also.
Okay. So are you a junior?
I'm actually the 3rd Ray McDonald, and my son's the 4th Ray McDonald, but he's Mickey. So he's Raymond Mickey.
All right, cool. And so I see that it looks like your daughter helps you coach as well with your program.
Kelly is a phenomenal coach. She's on the details, and she handles the fungo with the best of them. Mm-hmm. And, it was drilled into her at a young age, and she knows the game very well. Played at a very high level in the travel ball over her course of her career, in the top 10 in that area, her whole career. So she really knows the game, has a high standard for the kids to play at and to hustle at, and so forth.
Isn't it nice to have a female presence and a female voice that can pretty much say the things that we say, but for whatever reason, sometimes it puts that message over the top, or it really it drives it home, and it means maybe a little more sometimes?
Absolutely. The female voice in the sport is huge.
I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and he said he was talking with somebody pretty high profile. I won't drop any names, but they were having a conversation. It was an hour long, and he was going, and it was really all about how do we get the female athlete or the former player back into the sport or more ingrained in the sport, because you know how this works, man. It's a tough thing to go out and do, especially after you go play for 4 years, unless you absolutely love it or there's a situation like yourself where you know your dad or your family or someone you're close to is running an organization. It's hard to do. It's hard to commit that time, and the other thing I think some of these players don't realize is the amount of abuse that we take as coaches. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? How do we continue to like get females involved in coaching?
Well, after the college playing careers and during the summer after they play in college, I try to get them out to practices and, get them handling the fungo and learning how to coach, and it
Yeah,
starts with leadership on the field as a player. If they show those skills, you can kind of see they're going to be a good coach. And some people just love the sport and they want to stay in it like that. And it's better than getting away from the sport and getting a job, or so to speak.
right. It's a good side hustle, right? I mean, it's a good, additional source of revenue for some.
Mhm.
Maybe not what everybody thinks, but if you love it and you want to be around the game, I mean, I couldn't think of a better way for them to also give back a little bit as well.
After they graduate, coming back and coaching a little bit, starting with the 12-year-olds and, going through that and trying to develop kids. It's hard. It's different than playing for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned Kelly played at a high level, and you'd also mentioned that prior to West Bay Warriors, you actually coached her through another organization.
Yes, we took over from Hal Barbaro, the West Bay Nuggets in 1998, and we coached that through 2009.
Is that was that kind of the same as the the Cal Nuggets? Is that the same brand
Same
or
logo,
branch?
same everything, yeah.
Okay, okay. And then so Kelly moves on to college, and then you start West Bay Warriors. When, like, did I read it was like 2014 or 2015, something like that?
2014, I went
Okay,
over to the baseball side and started coaching baseball.
okay,
I think Mickey was 13, done with Little League, so
uh
just kind
huh.
of taught on the big diamond. It's a different game than Little League, and did that from 13 to 15. And when Mickey was 13 to 15, and then he was good enough to go play on his own travel team that was, already developed into the recruiting and all that stuff. And so wasn't a problem to let him go in that direction. And then I became just a fan of watching my kids play. And then I got an opportunity with like 7 kids. We're playing rec ball here in San Mateo, and they wanted to stay together. They didn't want to join another organization. And a lady came in and asked me if I'd like to, work with these 7 kids and try to make a team out of them. And
Mm-hmm.
luckily enough, the park was right down the street from my house. So I said, I'll stop by, hit some ground balls, do the thing. So day one, it was great. They all had the different color socks on, the rainbow socks and the
Yeah.
2 different color socks and shirts untucked. It just looked really silly. So I was, I'm in the screen printing embroidery business, and I made some shirts for them and told them all to wear black pants. So all of a sudden we started looking like a ball club. And, it's always hard when you start. So we took that from 8 players up to 120 125 that we have today. So it's really grown nicely over the last 10 years.
And what would you say during that time? What has been the key ingredient, like that has kind of helped you start with those 7 or 8 and get to where you're at now?
The key ingredient is you have to show up every day. You have to work. You have to work on your swing 20 minutes a day. I don't care if you play multiple sports. If this game, I think if you love it, you got to hit every day, and that's what you'll see the results. Taking a break from hitting is not, I don't feel, is a good thing. So the main ingredients is a lot of on-field practices, and then always being available to hit, which we are available every day after school up until we practice at 7 o'clock at night. So, and then we go to the field from 7 to 10 under the lights, and every kid's got an opportunity to work every day if that's what they love.
Is that something you do? Go ahead.
I always say we don't take attendance at practice or anything. Just show up because we're here. We want to get you better.
Yeah. So how many days a week is that for you?
I'm on the 7-day week right now with the tournaments on the weekend.
Yep.
We end Friday hitting at 5:00 at night, just so, go out to dinner or something Friday night, but every day we do it.
Wow. Well, and I'll get into, I wanted to ask you about, well, let me ask you this first. When you talk about your practices, so you hit from, you said 2 or 3 o'clock till 7, and you got people hitting, you got kids coming in, and then you go to your practice. What do your field practices consist of? What is it? Fundamentals, or is it more like team defense? Is it like, what do you focus on?
I think that it's really important to be in great shape. I love the conditioning part of it, but mixing that in with skills development. Mm-hmm. We have to play 4 or 5 games on Sunday. Everyone's going to be tired, but if we're in better shape than the other team, we're not going to be as tired. So basically consists of a good stretching, warm up, playing good catch, playing long toss.
Yep.
Then we go into a couple drills. We do the quarterback drills, going left, going right, going straight back, doing a little misdirection stuff just to move. And, the kids take it really serious. If a kid makes a great play, you hear a lot of noise, like encouragement. After we do all the quarterback stuff, we go into some rundown drills that we do that, my dad did when I was a young kid, and kind of run the same practice that's been running for a long time. After the rundown drills we do, we put the outfielders in as runners, and we leave the infielders in to go get them. It works for like the first and third drills, or, when people stop before a base, getting to rundowns and stuff. It just refreshes them on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And we get 10 outs in a row. If they don't get 10 outs in a row, if they start throwing the ball around, then we're down to the foul, pulling back type of thing.
Yeah.
When that's all done, infielders will go into some double barrel where we'll go across field where everyone will get maybe 30, 40 ground balls.
Yep.
And, I've heard coaches say that, the cherry hops don't really get you better. So you got to really go after it. We talk about staying in front of the ball. It hurts. It's a ball. It's not a bullet. Keep the ball in front of you.
Right.
Keep the ball in front of you. Keep the ball in the infield. Especially runner on second base, infielders got to be totally aware they got to keep the ball in the infield and look for the next play at all times. Then we go into an infield setting where the catcher's, one in a throw. I mean, kind of baseball stuff we did when we were kids. 1 in a throw, 2 in a throw, just moving the ball around. Sometimes get 3, 4 balls going around the infield. Everything's going fast.
Yeah.
All in turn, Harry Mullins has got the outfield, and he really works on their throwing, getting behind the ball, and he's really good about the techniques of throwing, and gets the outfielders catching and releasing pretty quick.
Yeah.
So he goes through his drills of do or dies, the same normal ones, and
Sure.
Communication is really big. We do all that. Then we go into a 21 out situation, where it's, the coach is hitting the ball and the outfielders, have to pre-pitch preparation.
Yep.
Have to think about what the hell I'm going to do when the ball's hit to me. And, we really, we got 5 or 6 coaches out there. We're on them. We're like, hey, do this right. Do it better. Do it again.
Yeah.
And it translates with some, and hopefully it translates with 9 so we can have a real good ball club.
Right. It sounds like a hustle practice. It sounds like there's a lot of movement. There's, different, like you were talking about, rundowns and just different scenarios. So, I mean, that sounds great. Is that something that's like by team, or is that organizational?
Organization. So we'll practice the 12s and 14s for 2 hours, and we'll practice 16s and 18s for 2 hours.
Okay. Cool. All right. And
then we'll after all that, we'll go into inter squad. We'll get everybody maybe 2 or 3 live at bats, and we'll put one team against another, and it's about winning, and they have to compete. We almost get them competing where they're they're in it. They might be talking smack, but they're in
Yeah.
it, and they're the umpires. We don't get involved. The catcher calls balls and strikes. It's okay
Yeah.
to communicate. Say, hey, that's a bad call. Learn how to
Yeah.
talk and learn how to talk to umpires politely. And
Right.
kids are scared to say, hey, that ball was outside. I need to know. I work on this area. If that's going to be a strike all day, I'm going to have to go chase that pitch. They can talk to umpires, and the good hitters will get the respect. Normally, it's how it works.
Right. Right. It's inter squatting. I love the inter squad. Do you have your pitchers pitch against your teams?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
No, all pitch to 16s against the 18s.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I'll keep the team together and tell the 16s to get better.
Right. No, I mean, and some don't like to do that. We like to do that. I like to inter squad a bunch. I tell you, one of the things I like to do, especially on weekend practices, we'll do a couple hour, workout, fundamental stuff. Then we'll do team stuff, and then I'll just create teams. Sometimes it'll be a team versus another team, or it'll be I'll mix them up and try to put them together evenly, and then bring out let's say there's 15 on a team, or 18 on a team. I'll go get 18 Dutch cards. And
Love
just
it.
be like, hey, the winner gets it.
Let's go.
And those kids, they're already competitive, but another level of competitiveness doesn't hurt. So
I love it. The losers normally have to run a few laps or something.
There you go.
And clean up the field and all that. But I
like
that.
Yeah, what's funny is even if you have the losers run, the other part of the team says, well, we're going to run with them, or they want to, right? And you're like, no, this is the time that you just let them, but it's all good stuff. I wanted to ask you, so let's talk specifically about the org challenge. Great event to kick off recruiting. And man, I told you when I saw you, because I saw you guys warming up the first thing on Saturday. I think you guys are playing the Rico team, Rico Brashear, and their select team, and you guys look big and athletic, and then I saw scores from the weekend. Not calling anybody out, but I mean it's impressive, man. 11-2, 12-0, 13-4, 11-0, 3-1, 8-0, 58 runs scored and 7 allowed. I mean, obviously you guys came to play and maybe things were aligned and worked well, or I don't know what the deal was, but it's an impressive line. Tell me a little bit about the team that you brought, and tell me about how, maybe what stood out to you as far as having that success.
Well, I'm going to go back to hard work. I'm going to go back to showing up every day. Those kids that were invited, all 100% uncommitted from our program.
Okay.
The kids that were invited are, they deserved it through their hard work. They show up every day to hit. We were saying that, these kids showed up every day to hit for 2 weeks before this event, and they'd been showing up since, we had 2 kids, Ava Belanti, who was the MVP of the tournament. She just joined us as an 18-year-old, which is, odd in the business to get an 18-year-old superstar come to your team who's uncommitted. It's not really, normally that they stay.
Yeah.
But she came, and she's just been a delight and a pleasure to coach, and a really ultra focused kid with, when there's something on the line, she goes into another gear. I just met this kid in August.
Mm-hmm.
And
where's she from?
She's
area?
She lives in, I'm not positive what city, somewhere around San Jose.
Okay.
In that area she lives.
Okay. And I'm curious, when you say people come to hit every day, I know you can't tell me an exact, but on average, are these kids traveling a little ways to get to your facility?
They are. We have kids from probably coming 40 miles to hit.
Okay.
AJ Tatum comes from Berkeley every day, and that's how she gets better. She just shows up and hits every day and takes it very serious and gets her 200-300 swings, and she works pretty hard.
Nice.
We get kids coming from across the bay.
Okay.
And then we have local kids. I've got this one local kid who's been around for 3.5 years now, almost 4 years. Taylor Workman, who she lives 2 blocks from the cage, and she used to hit with Megan Grant and Olivia Donardo when she was like an 11-year-old, and they're like, what's the little kid doing over here, But it was
Yeah.
funny because I knew she was going to be really, really good. And just seeing the way they worked, she's shown up every day for 4 years. She comes every day. She's not missed a day in 4 years.
That's
So,
crazy. I mean, geez, that's
yeah.
got to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to ask you too, and as somebody who's a president or a director of an organization,
Mm-hmm.
I assume you're the final word. You're the final say on whatever. I'm sure there's you have people that have say, but at the end of the day, somebody has to wear it. There has to be, one voice, I imagine, and maybe you do it differently. But I'm curious how you, in your organization, handle when you say, what did you say, 165 kids?
No, 120 kids.
120 kids. So with 120 kids, and you go and say, I'm going to take these 15, like, how did you handle that in your organization? And you said you invited them. How does that go
Yes.
over in your org?
Well, you look at the lowest ERA and the highest OPS and the offensive side, and then who can catch the ball and who can run, and how you can assemble a team for something like an organizational challenge, and
Right.
uh, the kids that we feel earned it and deserved it go. I have two kids that coach with me, a 29-year-old and a 33-year-old, and they may be the bosses, but I mean, they're telling me like a lot. Their
Yeah.
knowledge is really good too.
Cool. Well, and I mean more of like, how do the ones handle it that think they should go? Like,
Well,
like
I
does that
can,
go over pretty well for you guys, or is it like everyone else, in your opinion?
we played in the Bay Area Showcase this weekend too. We had 14s, 16s, 18s playing, so they were all playing as well this weekend. This group just went to the organizational challenge, so everybody played.
Got it.
As far as getting invited to the LA tournaments, you got to hit.
Yeah.
You got to perform high, and I think there's a pecking order amongst the kids. They know who the best hitter is, and
Yeah.
so I don't think there's too much confusion at that level.
Well, and I think it's never really the kids. And I'm not talking about your org at this point. I'm going to talk in general. Everyone thinks that they should be here or there or on this team, and so I just kind of like that was one of the things that kind of when I started thinking about you and thinking about this conversation, I was like, man, I just wonder how you did it and how, how it was received in your org. And it sounds like it was good. I mean, I know for us, I know there were probably a few people that think, hey, why didn't we get to go or whatever? But at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, it's about, assembling a team, and it's about, positions and speed and who hits and, who's going to give you the best opportunity behind the plate and all that good stuff. So I was just a little bit curious about that. What attracts you guys to that event?
Well, I like Derek Allister. I've known him for a long time. And, his daughter Jess at Stanford, she's a legend, and Derek's
Yep.
a legend. He's just a mentor of mine for a long time. I've actually used to hit fungos for him, 20 years ago at these events
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
had. So Derek's and Joanne, they're just super people, great family. How they're
Absolutely.
just super family. And, on the recruiting line, I think if kids are serious about being recruited, the on deck program is one of the best.
Yeah. Especially to kick it off. And for us anyway, the drive, 4.5 hours, 5 hours max. I mean, to us, it's great. Do you like the format?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm, all the metrics and all the different things. That's a little before my time. I like it. The exit velocity, the launch angle, all the grip strength, how
Yeah.
far you jump, and all that. I love it. It's great for athleticism, and I like to go on the lines of how you hit the ball, and you got to hit, and that hitting's mental. It's 80% mental. So I mean, the ones that can handle hitting in big games and can handle the good pitching and can bring their approach to the game that they work on in the cage. I mean, those are the kids that are a little bit more mature, and those
Yeah.
are the kids that advance in our program. If we we tell them what to do. And if they can't do it, we explain it to them. Look, this is what we told you. This is what you're doing. You got to get better at this. And when you get better at this, then you can move on to the next tournament in LA and such.
Yeah. Speaking of hitting, I mean, you've said it multiple times, and I was curious. I mean, you look at the scores. Obviously, your pitching was doing something right as well, but the hitting stands out, man. Like, who handles hitting for you guys? Is it, is it you? Is it Mickey? Is it, is it Harry? Like, is it a group? Like, tell me, give me a little insight.
All right. Well, I'll tell you a couple things. Harry doesn't do hitting. Harry does the outfield, and Harry will tell the outfielders, hey, you catch the ball really well. Hey, you throw the ball really well. But hey, if you don't hit, see that guy there, you're not going to get in the lineup. So you better hit. So Harry's pretty clear with them on day one about that stuff. Again, growing up with my dad, who was, just baseball crazy. I mean, I guess just like us, coached his whole life and played and coached. And so, I obviously had a bat in my hand from an early age, and we didn't have batting cages when I was a kid. We had drills that we did in the garage, and my dad would put me through drills in the garage. We would hang a string and tie a knot at the bottom. This is legendary for anybody that wants to be a really good hitter. Just a kite string down the bottom, tie a knot at the bottom, stand there and hit like it's the ball in the tee or whatever. You hit 75 to right, 75 to center, 75 to left, 50 to center. That's a pretty good workout. You could put a donut on the bat. I'm talking old days, what I would do. And then there was another drill. We put it like a batter's box on the wall, and my dad would draw circles in the batter's box, and each one of those was a pitch, up and in, down and away, down and in, up and away. And he'd make me stare at that ball on the wall, and I would swing at that pitch. Each one I'd swing 20 times at, down and in, down and away, up and in. They're different contact points. And that's before batting cages. That's, I guess, what we call old school hitting. I don't know. So I've always taught hitting. I played with Barry Bonds growing up. He was a friend of mine since 12 years old. We were the same graduating class.
Same high school?
Same high school, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I batted, it was great. Really cool. I see a Sun Devils shirt behind you. Is that 24? Is that Bonds?
No, that's actually my daughter's.
Okay. Well, I think he wore 24 at Arizona State, too.
Yeah. That's fun. That's great. That's good stuff. So, talking about your dad, I'm curious, like, what was his main message to you or
stay above the ball, hard ground balls. He had the, it's so funny, I could hit hard ground balls and singles with the best of them, but to get paid, you got to be Juan Soto. You got to hit the ball with the fence,
Yeah.
So that was the old school. And then with Mickey coming in, Mickey just being retired since, 2023. I mean, that's the new school. He's got everything new school. And so the combination, obviously I taught Mickey at a young age, the old school way, and then he's been trained every which way, the new school. So we cover a lot of good avenues of hitting, whether it's, the hands or the arms or whatever needs to be worked on. We can identify it pretty well. And we do a lot of things to fix problems, and we will outwork the kid trying to get the kid great. You want to get great, keep showing up, because we'll keep working, we're going to outwork you. That's our kind of motto with the kid. We'll work harder than you. We'll be here.
Right.
So
no, I love that.
The ones that love it, man, they just get into it. And then if they accomplish what we want them to accomplish, they ended up doing pretty well. We hit the ball pretty hard. So we work hard, and, hitting the ball hard is pretty much our main focus. Standing in the batter's box, hit the ball hard. That's our kind of message.
Up, down, whatever, like on the ground, or I mean, you guys still hit it hard? Okay. Hit
it hard.
Do you guys use video for any training?
We do. We'll just break it down real quick. We'll jump on the iPad and film like 4 swings of a hitter, put it up on the big screen and say, hey, you're not understanding. You see this? If they can't, some are visual learners.
Yep.
So we take the visual approach. If the verbal approach isn't working or demonstrating isn't working, we'll go to the video. We take videos of kids right when they come in, and then like assess their progress. Hey, this is after 1 year. Look at this. And
Yeah.
so we'll show them their history, and that's pretty cool. That's all Mickey stuff. That's not mine. I'm not the
Right.
video guy or the computer guy.
Right. Right. Okay. And then it looks like so. Just give me kind of a recap. Like, tell me, how that whole weekend went. Obviously, like I said, you guys scored a bunch of runs, but what? Like, did you expect that? I mean, because there's a lot of great organizations there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all expect it, right? We talk about it. We want to go, have a great weekend and go win. But were you surprised at all with how well you played?
No, we work really hard on a daily basis. It's not fake. We're out here for the right reason. We're out here to get the kids really, really good. We're not pretenders. We actually, I've explained my history. I absolutely love the game. And it's been in my blood for every day. I didn't start coaching when my daughter was 12 and say, oh, I get this now. I can do this.
Right, right.
That wasn't it, So coming down there, I mean, it's funny. I mean, I've coached against Tony for a long time, and Bashir and Sean and, those guys. And in the summer, we weren't very good. We weren't very good this past summer. We went through some transactions and transitions and things and rebuilding a little bit. Our 18 and under level was not very good. And, I had to wear that one. And in Colorado, they beat us 15-0, and they kicked our butt, and you wear it. And then, we beat them 11-0 or whatever this time. And I think we got new uniforms, new colors. We've got out of the black and gold into the green again, which we started in 2014 with the green.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, we come out with these new shiny uniforms that were pretty sick, and I think the other team was kind of looking like, "What is this clown?" They were they're a little off guard, and I think they probably thought they were going to win, but I knew what we had. You do this long enough, you're going to beat me. I'm going to beat you.
Right.
Every year's different.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we all got to keep working at it, and I think. On any given weekend, it's like anything, right? You don't show up, you're gonna get beat. You can get beat, or you can beat anybody. So, no, I love that. Tell me about your pitching, because obviously it looks like your pitching was on, giving up 7 runs in what was it, 5 games?
Lila McLeod threw 13 innings and had a 0.00 ERA in 13 innings.
That's good stuff.
Lila's sister, Paige McLeod, is at Illinois State.
Okay.
She was a legend. She won 2 national championships for Warrior Academy. She won a Triple Crown national title on the mound, and she won a Alliance national title on the mound. And she's at Illinois State right now. Her little sister is, we'll just say, taller and stronger at the same age of development.
Is she tell me what kind of pitcher? Is she a power pitcher? Or
power.
Getting soft contact? Okay.
Power. She's great. She's big, strong kid, and power pitcher, and she's developed her changeup and rise ball on top of her drop ball. She's becoming lethal at 15 years old,
Wow. Okay.
So then I was mentioning Ava Belanti, who also hits. She came to me as a pitcher, hasn't pitched at all in travel ball, apparently, according to what she's telling me. And I'm like, why haven't you been pitching? My God. So we just narrowed it down to basically a rise ball and a changeup and in and out. And just kind of focused on a couple pitches there. And like I said, she has the eye of the tiger and wants to compete, and it's really good.
Nice.
And then Sadie Fernandez is a kid we just picked up this year. She's got a lethal rise ball changeup, and she's going to be really good. She just started playing with us here now in the fall. So we're just learning her as well as she's learning us.
Cool. Well, it sounds like things went really well for you. How was the recruiting side? I imagine it had to be pretty good as well.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. We had a lot of really good interaction. I've been on the phone this morning with about 4 coaches talking about our players, and it's going really good. The recruiting, the coaches are really receptive to our athletes, especially the ones that have gotten players from our program that are out there on their field working the hardest of everybody out there, and they love that. And they're leaders and things that we
Yeah.
teach, and it's carried
Right.
on to these kids going to college.
That's good stuff. Do you guys use a recruiting platform?
We have Sports Recruit.
Okay.
Each kid, we include that in the in our system. They can do the Sports Recruit platform.
Cool.
I think about the recruiting a lot of times. It's like if you're hiring for a job, if you're the hiring person, you get 120 emails and you got a bunch of resumes, and
Yeah.
a guy calls you that you really respect and says, "Hey, this kid here is awesome. Graduated from here." Gives you a little rundown. I recommend this kid highly. You're going to take the word of the mouth, and that's how a lot of high end recruiting I think is done. With the obviously the coach is watching that player play you're recommending, but obviously
Yeah.
they're pretty good if you're recommending them.
Right. No, it's definitely all relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and then the respect of the program or the coaches for sure. Yeah, I was just curious. We also use Sports Recruits. I think it's easy. It allows the family to take control of their recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
They can get stuff out, and then it always kind of like maybe a kid feels a little bit like, man, I've been putting in all this work, and all of a sudden they see a view from a college, and it just kind of ignites them, keeps them going, and I think it's always an added bonus. But you and I both know the play on the field, and then like you said, the recommendation of the program or the coach is what probably pushes that over the finish line. What? Tell me about the rest of your fall. What events you gonna attend?
Well, this weekend we're going down to the PGF shootout. We're sending a 14, 16, and 18 down there. And I'm going to the East Coast to Rachel Coleman's event, the East Coast Showcase. I'm bringing 13 kids out there for, maybe Ivy League kids, Big East kids that are, high academic and want to go to those schools. So I'm bringing a group of those athletes out there. So
Okay.
I'm excited for that to get out there and interact with those coaches.
Okay,
A
that's
lot of time.
awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, is that something that? So is that a whole team, or is that just a select group of kids that want to go to that event?
Yeah, again, we just take we actually sent out to our recruitable kids, our juniors, our seniors first, and then our juniors second. Who would like to go on this trip? This is who would like to play in this tournament, and then people that wanted to play in that, they got to go there over the PGF. So, kids are going to get opportunity to play at the PGF shootout that normally wouldn't have if a kid, if the starting player's going to the East Coast, then, then the next kid gets an opportunity to play on the top team, which is cool.
That's awesome. No, that's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just kind of builds them for the next year, and keeps them motivated. Like there's some opportunity coming their way. No, that's good stuff, man. I like that. What's the best event, like in your opinion, or one of your let's say one of your top events, like that you like to attend in the fall? Whether it's like location or just the event itself is something that brings back memories, whatever. You have one?
Oh, geez, trying to think. I love the Rosetta Canyon fields out there. I think those are top notch, and
Yeah.
the cast of characters out there that you're playing against are always top notch. I love it.
Right.
So that's the best, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but Huntington Beach, you can't beat playing there. It's so beautiful, and Fountain Valley. I mean, they're just great events down there.
Speaking of that, are you where are you going to nationals?
Well, we have a few teams now. We're probably going to cover it all. It's still early. The Alliance format's really, really interesting this year, and I've heard the umpires, the college umpires that do the 18 are going to stay and do the 14s. I think 14s is starting a little earlier than PGF this year. I've just different things I've heard. So it's all very interesting to me, and I think we're expecting a pretty good turnout for like tryouts in December for our organization, and how the pieces fall. We'll figure that out as we get moving February, March, what exactly we're going to do with which teams. It's a lot of
Yeah.
players and a lot of teams to
Yeah. So
put
does each team make their own decision, or do you kind of help guide that?
No, it's all Kelly, Mickey, and myself making
Okay.
those
Cool.
decisions.
And do you guys move players around as you need them?
We do. I love the Major League Baseball system. I really
Yeah.
do. I think that
Minor leagues. Yeah.
we'll call 18 and under, we'll call that the major leagues, and we'll call 16 AAA, and we'll call 14 and under AA, and
Yep.
12s will be single A. And if you're a 14 and you're good enough to go, you're going to play 18s. This Taylor Workman kid I was talking about, she played 18s all last year as a 14-year-old and just killed it.
Wow.
And the kid's an animal.
Yeah.
So if you're good enough, I don't see how it's benefiting you, winning the 14 and under tournament when you're really good and you hit 7 home runs and, go face some good rise balls and go face some elite pitching that you're going to be seeing when you're 18 against 22-year-olds. So we give those kids that kind of talk, like it's only going to be a minute. When you're 18, you're going to be facing 22-year-olds. When you're 14, you got to go face an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense to us.
Sure. No, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, one of my coaches played a little bit too, and he talks about he's got a board in his home office, and he's always calling me, hey, look at all these magnets I got all the kids listed, and these are the ones in the bigs, or they got a chance to go to the bigs, and so his name's Jeff. He's all pumped up. I think you may have met him. But yeah, man. All right. Well, hey, I mean, you got any final thoughts? Anything you want to get out there about your program? Anything you want to share?
We're just excited for our program. We've been working so hard. We're just excited for the players in the Bay Area to come join our organization if they feel that they've got a shot to play at that high level. We got good opportunities for them, and we're going to train them. And our goal is to make them the best they can be as an athlete and a person. So We're going to work hard for them, and it's real.
It's awesome, man. Hey, Ray, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time today. And again, congratulations, man, on a great weekend. I think it's a great showing for you, and what you guys are doing up there. I think big things are coming for you guys. And it was funny because I read an on deck. No, it was an extra innings article from 2018. It was something like organizations to watch, or it was like from 2018. Actually, it's Wispy Warriors on the Rise. It was from March 2nd in 2018.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, it sounds like you've been doing good things for a while. Like I said, congratulations, and I'll see you out there, man. I'm hopeful to continue to do what we're doing and try to stay there too.
Awesome, Randy.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
Appreciate it. All right, I just want to say thanks for listening. We will continue working to elevate the sport and get caught up with those who are influential in the fast pitch community, and hopefully we can help you navigate your softball journey. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Caught Up with Randy Kaye, or at Coach KAZ. You can listen on Spotify, Caught Up with Randy Kaye. You can also follow us on X and on Instagram using the same handles, at Coach KAZ. Thanks again for listening or watching. Have a good day.